worn rusty wheels and knew I'd take her home. I brought her to my farm in an Amish neighborhood where simple living's valued. She'd be loved and understood. I put her on a treadle stand and coaxed her wheel to turn. I felt her joy and easing with my study and concern. I cleaned her and I oiled her, showed her off to all my friends, repaired the hurts of years and let her sew again.
And welcome to my next project. So I have her tipped this way. She is a Singer 27. I have not checked her year yet. I need to do that. But I have her tipped this way because I want to show you that in general, her decals up here are good, okay? But her decals on her bed are very poor. So before people get too excited and everything, I'm going to do my best to save the decals up here, but I have a project in mind for doing a little something different on the bed, which is still in keeping with the Sphinx, the Singer Sphinx motif. So we're going to kind of keep her original, except for the bed will be, you know, a little bit more stylized. We'll see, you know, things could happen. But the first thing I'm going to do is, you know, as usual, start taking her apart piece by piece. And right now you can see she does move freely. So I'm very happy about that. She's an older girl, I can tell that. So the back side here is completely grunged over. There's a decal buried underneath here somewhere. I don't know what kind of condition it's in, but I'll have to take a peek at that. There's also a decal over here behind all of this grunge somewhere, you know, but we'll look for that too. So anyhow, let me move the camera around and we'll get started taking her apart. Okay, so just for convenience, first thing I'm going to do is pull off all of her little plates. Well, the front one came off easy. The back one seems to be a little bit stuck. Okay. So I'm going to tap out using a wooden handle here. Just going to tap that back plate. The back ones are always a lot more sticky than the front ones. Okay, so they're in pretty good shape. I'm going to go ahead and, as I usually do, put all of the plates, all of the components of one particular section in a little baggie by itself. This is my one thing here. The little spring got snagged on something and it is from the tension mechanism out of sorts. If I can't reform this spring, and this is what I'm talking about right here, I do have another one. I have a spare that I can use, so that's not a big concern to me. But before I actually pull this off, I'm gonna take off the front. That is a hammer, not a screwdriver. Take off the front plate here. I can tell she's an older girl by some of her styling, but, oh, there it is. But I will have to look it up. Okay, so her insides are typically dirty, but like I said, she is moving freely, so we have that going for us. And I'm going to take this needle out first because I don't want that to stab me. And I got that out of the way, so now I can go ahead and take this little plate off here. It's a lot of grime in the little slot for this screw, but once you pull the grime out. It's coming out pretty easily. Okay, so I'm going to put this in with the slide plates. That will be cleaned before it goes back on. Lots of lint in here, so we know she was used quite a bit. So that's good, you know. I'm going to go ahead and pull her little shuttle out, and there is a bobbin with black thread in there, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And next I'm going to take off the whole little tension mechanism here. First I'm going to undo this little screw. Let me tip it so you can see. Okay, there's a little screw right here. I'm going to take that off. And all right, so now that has come loose. Let me see if I can just loosen up this whole deal while it has the nut on. While this nut is still on all the way up, I can unscrew the whole thing and lift it out. So this is the spring that's 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 here. I'll see what I can do to fix it. If I can't fix it, I can replace it. Okay, so here is my tension mechanism. Lift this off. The little cylinder here is cast into the piece that does not lift out. So let me put these pieces into its own little baggie. Okay. And then after this, while I'm on this side, there should be a screw right here with the head right there. I'm going to take that out, and that should lift off the entire bobbin winder mechanism. Okay, so this is it. It seems to be, you know, functioning. We have spring. All the springs are working on it, so that is really excellent. Just going to put that away. Let me go ahead, flip her over this way. And take this plate off. Again, kind of dirty, but still decent. And let's go ahead and look at the front here. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to start clearing out all of this stuff in here. Let me go ahead and try to undo this little screw here and see if I'm going to be able to just pop the needle bar out. Before I do that, there's a clamp down here that I need to take out, and there's a little thread guide that has a screw in the very back here that I need to unscrew. Okay, so now that these are off, they're very dirty, you know, as you would expect. Let me see if I can release this. Maybe not. Loosen up this screw here, see if that does anything. Well, you can see that it is starting to move, but it's pretty stuck. I'm just going to throw a bunch of penetrating oil in here after I move my camera out of the way so it doesn't get splashed on my lens, and let it sit for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and finish taking apart these pieces. Alrighty, I think I've got it. I just needed to wiggle it around here. So just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And it's coming free. Okay, so now I can just keep doing it until I get this little bar wiggled all the way up. Okay, so that is my needle bar. Very intact, kind of dirty, but very intact. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in a little bag with its parts and tiny screw. and go ahead and try to get this presser bar out. I took the foot off down here. I need to get this thread cutter off before I can pull it up. So let me see if I can just wiggle it with some pliers here. These things they're like tetanus waiting to happen. All right, it is off. Good deal. Okay, so here it is, the little bladey thread cutter. Put that over there. Up here at the top, there's a little finial deal that needs to be unscrewed. So let me see if I can get that started. You know what? I don't want to damage this, so let me put some oil on that and use a cloth and my wrench, and I'm going to unspin that in just a moment. Okay, it is loosened up here, so I can go ahead and pull that off. Let me see if I can push this spring through the top. Maybe. Maybe not. Looks like it's the maybe not category, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up this screw right here, which is the little clamp holding on this needle bar. And looks like everything's kind of stuck. So again, I'm going to do my turn. Like if I put a little towel right here, I already have it soaked in here with penetrating oil. Sometimes if I just turn it, especially down at the bottom where one side is flatter than the other, if I can get it to rotate, I can break whatever hold it has. Let's see. See how it's turning now? Okay. So now that that's turning, I can kind of push it upwards. And just kind of go that way, okay? So let me work with it back and forth, turning it, pushing it until I can pull this needle bar all the way out the top. I had to turn my fan on because it's getting very hot in here. Okay, so here is my presser bar. If I can get the spring out. No washer on top. I think that there is a washer, but it is stuck up here. There it is. Okay, so I got the little washer and the little slidey block piece, not its actual technical name. And then I can pull off this little piece, okay, which is the little slot that this bearing goes through. And I'm going to keep this bearing with this piece just so I don't lose it, because I'm not taking this screw out of the little cog there. But you can see the little bearing travels like this in this little slot. That's how the needle moves up and down, okay? All right, let me get this thread lifter bar out of here. There's a big old screw on the side here. Well, first let me put all of my lifter stuff into its own little baggie, you know, so we don't lose it and all of its things. Lots of things. All right. Alrighty, so for this big screw right here, I'm gonna get my big thick boy. I'm gonna spray some oil in there and get my little leverage ratchety piece, and let's see if we can get this off. Hey, came open pretty good. Okay. All right, big flat screw, and let's see if I can wiggle you out from the front here. Sometimes if you turn the wheel a little bit, it puts the cog in a better position so it can just pop out, you know? And when I go to put it back in, if I put it in from the bottom and then wiggle my wheel up, it'll set in place pretty good. But for right now, you know, filthy. And the last thing up here is my lifter, presser foot lifter, and that's just a little screw right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out and pull the little lifter bar out. Okay, so for starting underneath here, I'm going to take off my feed dogs. I need to change my bit. Again. Come on. Okay. If I undo this little screw here, I should be able to tap out those feed dogs. Okay, so this is them, little baby feed dogs. I'm actually going to put those in their own little bag for right now. And, oops, catch that screw. I'm going to, deal with this shaft over here. Let me go ahead and get a wrench. I'm going to hope 9/16 is it. I'll be right back. Okay, so these are a 9/16 inch nut at the end, and I got those cracked open off camera, so I can pull that off. And then I should be able to find my screwdriver and loosen up this pivot screw. Yeah, different bit, of course. Okay, once I have this backed out enough, I should be able to move this shaft out. I'm going to do the same thing on this side over here. There's another 9/16 inch nut right here. So lefty loosey, going to pull that off. And I'm going to back out this screw just a little bit also. Hold on a second. I need to lay this down because it wants to rock on me. Okay, so I got the big nasty pivot screws and nuts out. I'm going to put those away. And up here, I need to disconnect this vertical shaft from this clamp here so that I can get this part free. Let me see. Again, changing my bit. Okay, so that is open now. And all right, there is a little nut right here that I need to loosen up a hair. It is, what is that, 3/8 of an inch. And once that nut is off, then I can get in here with the screwdriver and loosen up this screw, which should just kind of work itself out. Just a little bit more. Okay, so there's the screw. It's got a big old shoulder on it, and then this is the little nut that goes on the other side, so I'm just going to keep them together. Oh, I scratched my nose. And now this whole part comes off. This bearing here, is it attached? Well, it's screwed on, which is good. I don't want to lose it for right now. That is what slides back and forth in here, right below where the shuttle is, okay? So it sits in like so, like this. I don't know if you can even see, sorry about that. So right in here, there's a little slot that that bearing goes back and forth in, okay? I'm just gonna clean this whole thing together. So I'm just gonna put that whole mechanism in there. Okay, let me take this bar off now. And it's just a screw here, a screw there, and I'll be right back. All right, I got the front one off. It just screws in another big shouldered piece. Okay, that's gonna be in this bar right here. The back one has another little nut back here, which to me looks about the same size as the other small nut. So I'm gonna try to wedge my little 3/8 inch wrench back there and see if it's gonna help me out here. Hang on. Well, I can feel it move a little bit, you know. So this might take me a while, but I want to loosen up the nut in the back so that then I can unscrew the screw in the front. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't need to worry about that nut in the back first, because once I get this little screw out the front, the whole thing pops out. Now, back here, it is back there. This is a separate piece, it looks like, but for right now, I'm gonna leave that in place and not worry about it. The next thing I'm gonna do is take off this screw right here, which is gonna release the little holder for my shuttle bobbin case thing. So there she is. You know, she is complete with her dirty little screw. My hands and my tools and everything get so filthy when I'm taking these old machines apart because I coat them with a penetrating oil. I get it all over my hands. My tools are all nasty. And sometimes I see these people with very clean tools and clean hands working on things, and I am just in awe. I don't know how that's even possible. Okay, so down here, this is moving quite well. I can clean that in place. I am not going to worry about getting that out. It just looks like it's going to be hard to get this undone. You know, might not be, but it looks like it is. So now I got these vertical shafts here. It's moving pretty well. Let me see over here. I've got my stitch length regulator knob, and I need to get that undone. It's a little bit stiff, but I can unturn it, so that is good. I'm gonna need to pull my wheel off too. So let me get this unscrewed and then I'll pull off my wheel. Okay, so to take off the wheel, I took out that little screw. Remove the washer. Please come off easy. Hang on a second. Now that the wheel is off, I need to loosen this screw just a little bit because this is not coming free. And this is sometimes the culprit. Well, let's just go ahead and pull it all the way out anyway, huh? Because I'm going to want to totally clean up the whole stitch length mechanism so that this moves really freely. I am not stripping this machine. As I said, I will be doing something to the bottom though to get it cleaned up and primed and ready to do what I am going to be doing to it, which I'm still figuring out. Maybe a little bit of trial and error because I'm not too sure how different things react to different paints and stuff. So, you know, you will see as I do. Okay, so I got out this big hunkin' screw and its little pronged washer, okay? And now this is going to be free. So once that comes off and I can get this free, I should be able to wiggle out this fork. There it is, very dirty. And the little stitch length, don't want it to go down the head there. The little stitch length block deal. And now I can pull this knob out the rest of the way. Okay. I think the only thing left is to remove this belt guard, and then that is it. She is pretty much taken apart to the extent that I'm going to. I am not going to take out her main shaft. I don't like to do that, and I don't really see a point right now in taking out this vertical shaft with the little cage in there, you know. It's doing well, and I can clean it all up in there. I think that it's going to be just fine. So, yeah, that's going to stay put. This belt guard, let me see, should be just this one little screw. And it is. There you go. And now I can go ahead and bag these up and get her ready to clean.